Let's talk about certifications and where they fit into your offensive security journey. Especially if you're looking to get started, this is a remarkably annoying topic because everyone has different opinions. I'm probably gonna have a weird, controversial opinion, but when you start researching this online, it's really confusing knowing what certifications to go after, whether you should go after a college degree, which ones you need, and how they help you. So I have a biased opinion on this. So I'm gonna talk about my journey a little bit of certs, where it's brought me, how it got me my first job as a penetration tester, moved into consulting, and then started my own business. So I'm going to be able to talk to it a little bit on before when you're applying for jobs, and then what someone like me looks for when I'm hiring someone. Jumping into it, let's talk about my journey on certs, and then we'll jump into the rest because I think that context might help you get a little bit more insight in why I think this way. I entered into the world of hacking through video games, Red Alert, Counter-Strike, in Unreal Tournament 2004, which was the first cool exploit that I found. I used HPing and TCP dump to reverse engineer packets and found out a way of faking a gazillion servers, which ultimately crashed game clients. I was so excited about it. I wanted to share it out with the internet, so I bought a domain. I bought offensivesecurity.com to host a blog on. I continued researching, I picked up books, and I started learning Linux. And about this time, two weird things happened. First, I started getting emails to offensivesecurity.com with people's lab notes and screenshots and questions, and it was weird. And also around the same time, I found Backtrack, which was an offensive security Linux distribution, which ultimately went on to become Kali, which we know and love. And it was off backtrack.com or org, and there was a learning arm which they offered certifications called offensivesecurity.com, more specifically offensive-security.com. I owned their actual domain, and students were missing the hyphen, and I was getting their information. It was really weird, but I came up with a really interesting plan, and this is what ties it back to certs. I reached out to offensive-security.com, and I asked, can we come up with a deal here? I know they were a starting company, so they didn't have a ton of money to buy this domain, but I didn't really care about money at the time. I was a poor college student anyway. I asked for a couple $100 just to help me maybe get to DEF CON at one point, but also credits for their offensive, their OSCP and their OSWP, which was the only remote learning ones they had at the time. And me and Mutz, we struck a deal. After I transferred the domain, I had access to the courses, so I dove in, and this is where it becomes kind of weird. I already had so much knowledge because of the type of hacking I was doing. I was doing video game hacking, so I was already pretty aware of how to do AV evasion and how to hook into processes. I already knew wireless hacking really well because it was such a cool thing at the time. Bypassing WEP and WPA was so simple back then, and it's not where it is now. It's not way more advanced. So when I started ripping into the courses, I didn't get a lot of the knowledge out of them. Again, they're incredible courses, and it's really the only experience I have within offensive security ones, but I didn't gain a lot of knowledge. So at the end of them, when I took the exam, I passed pretty easily, and it's a hard exam, but I had the knowledge. I had been living and breathing this stuff. So at the end of it, I got the acronyms at the end of my name. I didn't get the knowledge that comes with it. Same thing with the other two I have is the Security Plus and A Plus. I went on and I found a big dump of questions and answered. I memorized them, and half an hour later I went and got those. And I didn't get those for the knowledge. I got them because it saved me about $5,000 worth of college courses because I could just show the certification and clap out of them and then take a more advanced class. And this is the root of the problem for me. Is certifications just for the sake of certifications, if you have the knowledge, I honestly think are worthless. It's very similar to a college degree. If you're just going for a piece of paper, the knowledge and not gaining the knowledge, it's a tremendous waste of money when now there's so many free resources. There's Hack the Box, there's Try Hack Me, and while they don't give a certification, they give you the knowledge. And the counter to this argument is often, well, certifications help you land the job. And this isn't the case, or at least not for me, either when I was looking for a job using my certifications or now when I'm hiring. While they're interesting pieces which may get your resume pulled if you're just shooting it into the diploma mill, when I was applying for jobs, where I got the most success was reaching out to the hiring manager, just doing some rudimentary OSINT finding or guessing their email address and reaching out to them. Often it would get my resume pulled, And at that point, it gave me an in. It gave me a conversation. And I knew if I got to talk to them, I could probably land the job. I'm a good talker. I know the information. So my certifications became less important. They were just like a cliff note in the conversation. And now when I'm hiring, certifications and college degrees are nice, but ultimately it's really hard to see someone's knowledge without really testing them out. And if they claim to have the knowledge and then turn out they don't have the knowledge, then it's probably not a really good fit. And that's one of the things you're doing during an interview is don't lie. Talk about your knowledge, your experience, because they're looking for someone who's a fit for their company, and you want to make sure you're a good fit for their company. And if you lie or it creates mistrust, it doesn't help you down the path, where down the line, where if you're honest, you talk about your skills, you talk about your passions. That's what I look for oftentimes, because I know hackers and geeks ultimately freaking love what they do. So if they get on the phone and they start talking about it, what did they last research? What tools have they written? Even if they haven't written tools, what was the last tool they found, which feels like it should be a paid tool? That's some of the times where I find the coolest tools, like NPK, which is big serverless GPU cluster, was through conversations with people. What have you done in the community? And those conversations go a lot further. And if they don't have certs, same thing. Where are you documenting? Do you have a Medium? Do you have a blog? Do you have a Hack the Box account? Any one of these things starts rating a lot higher than certifications. So if you're just getting a certification just for the sake of having the acronym, it's a waste of money, because ultimately it doesn't get you that much farther. However, let's talk about where certs do fit in, because I think there's two categories. The first one is if you're the type of student who needs some sort of standardization around your first dive into hacking, then OSCP, because it gives you a nice methodology. It gives you a lab, it gives you instructions and lessons, and it gets your foot in the door. But ultimately, you're going to have to learn how to research yourself and dive in, because you're going to learn the information now. And when I did the OSCP, it's been 10, 15 years. Nothing I did back then is necessarily relevant now. The antivirus bypass wouldn't work at all. Any of the exploits are all considered old. Not saying that you might not find one or two systems, but what you would get out of a course like that is the knowledge to teach yourself how to research, how to learn, how to Google better, how to troubleshoot, because it's not a paint by numbers. Here's how you hack the system. They give you the base knowledge, and then you're going to have to go off on your own anyway to be successful in the OSCP. I will always love that cert and what Mutts did for me. The second place that certs really seem to thrive is large organizations. Small organizations just really want you to have the knowledge. Large organizations, for your continuing education, they like that you have something to show for it besides just knowledge. So that certification helps them justify the budget, because hey, look, they have this new letter they can put at the end of their name. I still think application security specialist is a great one just to toss at the end of your name, maybe on a business card. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether you do certs, it doesn't matter whether you do your own research, as long as you keep learning and hack on.